you're not filming, and when you're not filming, you're not making money, so it all translates to that. So the action in films or television, when you look at something like a Magnum PI episode, and it's not airing here, but on occasion, and when it does, it seems kind of slow moving. 1983, 84, MTV changed the way we film things. 2 seconds is kind of a long shot now. It's 1 second, half a second, things happening, cars exploding, running into a room, clear, 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 and they run out. Some set decorator had to create a whole set for McGarrett to run into and say clear and run out of the set. And so you have a lot more activity, you have a lot more action, and that's what people want. And so that has changed. My working relationship, I'm actually the first person from Hawaii to get into the Art Directors Guild, working at a level that I would now tell the set decorator what I wanted to see, what my vision was. When I started, it was my vision, but it's changed. The responsibility has changed, the amount of detail has changed, high definition TV, you're seeing labels on things, clearance, I could hang any picture I wanted on a set, and now unless you can clear that picture, meaning get the person who has the rights to it, which is not you, just because you own the picture doesn't mean you have the rights to it, and if you don't have the rights or you can't get the rights, you can't hang the picture. So it adds a lot more. There are now full-time clearance people as part of the crew who do nothing but clear images or clear backgrounds, and so that they don't get sued. And so there's a whole world of things that we didn't even think about back then. And so yeah, it's changed quite a bit.
When you mentioned casually that you had an opportunity, if you had an opportunity to see an actor at work or get to talk to them a minute, did you ever have an opportunity to bring someone onto a set in a background or something like that?
Yeah, my sister happened to be visiting me, and it was her birthday, and we were filming a big scene with Sawyer on Lost, and it was at Bob's Big Boy that we had made into a Iowa diner. And I talked to the person who places the extras. She was a good friend of mine, a second AD. And she put my sister in a location that she was guaranteed to be seen a lot. And even that, I told her, I said, don't be telling everybody you're going to be on camera, because a lot of times, you get cut. Well, she wasn't cut, and she was there, and she was right next to Josh Holloway, and she had a great time. It was a very memorable birthday. And more people saw her that day than probably saw Olivia on the stage in his entire career. I mean, yes, that show was hundreds of millions of people all over the world. So
I remember once, since the Hawaii Pacific University, it's on 4th Street Mall, it's downtown campus, and I went into class for a couple of hours, and I saw them setting up the street for a shot. And when I came back outside, it was Bangkok,
right,
with all the signs.
I remember that.
In Thai.
Yeah.
And I think you've mentioned this to me earlier, the idea of wrapping the bottoms of the palm trees so they look like a walnut or.
Oh yeah, they're actually is more the art department than set decorating, but they have what they call skins that they can put over things to make them into other things, and of course you're limited as to how high that skin is that you can actually see, but. Yeah, we downtown Hawaii, it was London, it's been, I mean, I can't even think of all the locations. Big Ben chiming over 4th Street on another episode. It was fun to see what they would add to what we had already done. But yeah, we turned a lot of places into other things, and that's part of what art direction does. Is if you were to ask me what is art direction, it's basically everything you see on the screen, except for the actor. It's what's in the room, what's behind them, what they interact with, the doors they open, and of course, you're not officially watching that, but it interacts with the actor, and the actor is casting and hair and makeup and wardrobe in terms of breaking down what departments are involved with them. But the art department is it's a big department, and it can range from creating a set from scratch in a studio to modifying an existing set on location, and anything in between. So it's a pretty wide department.
Just for the fun of it, The Descendants was filmed in Hawaii, and they made a big point of using actual locations. So if a goat was tethered to the lawn and was eating the grass, it stayed in the frame, so to speak. Do you ever have a favorite scene set in Hawaii, or something that was of particular interest to you? Because, you know, again, Hawaii had, for example, in Lost, they turned the subterranean satellite city hall on underneath King Street, and they turned the steps down to it into London subway.
Oh, right,
which really impressed me, because I walked past that on my way
Which was
home.
probably just a sign,
Yes.
and us telling you that it was the London
Exactly
subway, and
right.
then you of course accept it because,
Yes.
yeah, no, it's hard to. I mean, literally thousands of sets to have. If I had to pick one, it would probably have been, I think it was the second season I had done of Magnum, which would have been the fifth season. And I was able to furnish the Cook Spalding house, which later became the Contemporary Art Museum, furnish it one more time. I had a huge budget, and it was starring a relatively unknown actress playing the good sister and the bad sister named Sharon Stone.
Oh, that's right.
And
yes.
yeah, that was something. You could kind of tell she was going to go someplace, but and so she did. But to see that house that was so magnificent furnished one more time before it was turned into a museum, I was pretty proud of that. And of course, the other issue I guess I should mention is by the time I was doing 5.0, I would say anywhere from 60 to 80% of what we did on a set was not seen at all. You simply did it because you didn't know where they were going to film. And whereas back on Magnum, we had directors who would say, I'm only going to see from here to here. And you could trust them. And later, if they said that, they'd come in and say, no, we're going to see over here now. No, and it's not dressed. So that also has changed. It's just different. You give them 360 ceiling, floor, everything. And so it's more costly, but it's just how it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back after this short break.
Aloha, my name is John Waihe'e, and I used to be a part of all the things that you might be angry at. I served in government here and may have made decisions that affects you. So I want to invite you in. I want to invite you in to Talk Story with me and some very special guests every other Monday here at Talk Story with John Waihe'e. Come on in, join us, express your opinion, learn more about your state, and then do something about it. Aloha.
Welcome back to Global Connections. We're talking to Rick Romer, designer, set designer, art decorator in Hawaii for many, many years, working on everything from Magnum PI to Lost. And we were talking about individual experiences that you might have had. Later on, we'll talk a little about the career of a set designer, set decorator, and your own work more recently working as a designer. But I'm always curious. I saw the first episode of Lost in real time, so to speak, and that plane crash was pretty impressive.
It was downright scary.
Yeah, really, tell us something about that.
Well, a little bit of background on that. We had 3 pilots being done that year, and Lost was the last one. I had actually done North Shore, and we'd even started we were on episode 1. They really wanted me on Lost, and I turned them down 3 times. I said, it's a plane crash. Yeah, I don't know, bodies and burned luggage. But as it turned out, it was, especially that first season, without a lot of the network and corporate involvement that later resulted on that show, it was just an amazing experience. And actually studying debris fields, it kind of got into, but actually the way J.J. Abrams shot the pilot, it was pretty much, I call it my haul and dump theory of set decorating, where you simply haul everything and dump it, and they pull out what they want for each shot. Even though we had these things all we thought figured out, things were created basically for every shot. And of course we had that big hulking plane in the background, the burning one on Mokulea Beach, and we had the fuselage was in Heiakia in the jungle. It was a real plane. It was cut into pieces and shipped over here, and we had to move it at one point when flooding occurred during the winter season, which actually prompted the script to say they're going to be moving out of the plane, which the show was kind of fluid. I mean, they literally did make a lot of it up as they went along. So our moving of out of the plane into the jungle, as it were, up on Police Beach, was kind of caused by the fact that it was winter surf in Hawaii, and you know, they didn't fight Mother Nature. They went with it, and it became part of the story.
Mm-hmm. And you know, there's an interesting issue, which is, what about this kind of job today?
Well, today, again, things have changed a little bit. More and more, the films that are coming over here pretty much bring everybody with them. They bring, at least through the decorator, maybe even the lead man, all comes from LA. And it's primarily because these people have worked together before. And I understand that. If I was going to go to Des Moines and do a feature, I'd kind of wonder, well, who am I going to find in Des Moines? You know, well, as it turns out, there might be some good people, but not knowing that ahead of time, you might feel more comfortable bringing people that you've worked with, and that's kind of how things have been going. So I have actually been doing more. I just art directed a national Supercuts commercial. A great, pretty famous director. You kind of have to wear a lot of different hats in Hawaii. You can't just say, I'm a set decorator or I'm an art director. You know, you want Christmas decorations, I'll do them. You want a big party, I'll do it. I've been a creative director for a local events company, and it's all part of the same world. It's design, it's creating, and I find it all just as interesting. And you certainly can't get stale. You have to keep reinventing yourself, reinventing your work, and you don't really have a look. Your look is, well, what look do you want? And that's the look you get. So you don't want to be too tied to, you know, you only do this or you only do that. And in Hawaii, you can't be, because you're doing so many different things all at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the challenges, and also one of the things I enjoy most, is that I get to do a lot of different things here. And if I'd stayed in LA, I'd be, you know, one of 200 other set decorators or 500 art directors or whatever. So, but the trade-off is, you know, it's a few lean times here and there, but it's kind of how it is, and you just do something else, that's all.
Well, recently you did a little work on Lion King.
Oh, that's a whole nother career, but something that's kind of funny how it happened. I worked in theater for more than 10 years in lighting and set design, and for some reason, the only work I've had here, professional work, has been as a dresser on everything from Lion King, I forget, 150 some performances over a 5-month period, Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera, and basically anything that's come to Blaisdell, even an occasional opera. And it's a connection with theater that I, in some ways, never really had, because usually by the time the show opened, again, I was on the next one. I wasn't there every night, but it's a discipline. It's a whole different mindset. It's really not creative per se, because you're doing exactly the same. In fact, creativity is strongly discouraged. You do exactly the same thing you do every night in exactly the same order. And if something else happens, then, you know, you kind of go with it. But then occasionally things would happen. It's live theater. But I love, it's still my little theater heart working backstage. I still enjoy it, although it really has literally nothing to do with film and television. But it's I'm fortunate that I usually wind up getting the leads, which is I'm honored to be working with the level of some of those people, and they expect and